journey back from work, and I got depressed inside the bus. When I thought about the bankers, jobless, student debts, not knowing who to trust, my despair grew ever deeper when I thought how MPs now discard the law. When I was at my lowest, I sensed someone there who wasn't there before. The figure, he was 12 feet tall in three-piece suit and old-style winter hat. And though he was so taciturn, when I turned round I could see clearly that it was MegaClement. MegaClement. He was amazing all the time. Clement Attlee might have never been super famous, but the one Homeric epithet he needed was lameless. He kept nearly full employment right across the nation, and he did what needed doing with decolonisation. He didn't waste his time trying to appease the press. No, he spent it doing awesome things like setting up the NHS. 'Cause he was amazing. Now 28 years following the Attleean rapture, there arose the selfish principles of Margaret Thatcher. She was a cast-iron lady with a clenched iron hand and a grievous inability to critically assess Ayn Rand. Now she was a dickhead. Now MegaClement told me why he had to come back. He said the coalition's policies were on the wrong track. He explained privatisation with the bigger picture. The quality is the same, but now we've lost our say and someone's getting richer. But it's not us. MegaClement. Amazing all the time. As we started on our journey down towards Westminster, I observed so many forlorn politicians. I winced, and Clement told me that when the HE reforms were sustained, these cowards knew what was right, and still they only abstained. And when I said I wished to ask them how they'd allowed this farce, my master told me coldly, "Nah, let us only look and pass." It sounded familiar. And on our journey we encountered those who would try and stop us. There were MPs, corporate leaders, male readers and coppers. If I told of all the stories of the foes that we met, the single song would take up all the rest of my set. Clement saw Gillian Duffy, said her comments were factless. Then he told the fucking bigot she should purchase an atlas. They say society is fairer now than with Harriet Harman. That's unless it happened to be gay or black or a woman. So when Clement had his path blocked by Theresa May, he summoned Bertrand Russell and they showed her to a better way. And she changed how she voted. When he'd finished with this latest act of righteous assailing, Russell stuck around and he and Clement had AC Grayling. They said, "Oi, dickhead, your elitist school looks a load of bollocks. Education is not and never should be a consumer product." Russell said, "You don't represent me." And I don't even want to say what came of Lansley and Osborne when they saw our hero coming. They jumped and ran like popcorn. See, when your only commitment to your country is money, when things get tough there's no integrity to stop them up and running. And how they ran. MegaClement. MegaClement. He approached our final destination, I felt a fear come over me, a deep trepidation. Clement stopped and said, "Nothing to fear, my young friend. Deep down, people are good and will be good in the end." As I tried to understand the meaning of what he had said, he walked into the pit of Parliament and I followed where he led. It was time for a showdown. When we got into the chambers there, I saw such a sight that my soul froze. I lost hope and trembled with fright. There a 50-foot thatcher stood with 3 snarling heads, and in the mouth of one Cameron, the second Blair, the third Nick Clegg. And I'd seen what we'd come to. In a fit of rage at what democracy had become, I ran towards the monster, spewing hate from my tongue. And as I approached my enemy in unquestioned death, Clement Attlee dove overhead and caught Thatcher's tail right through the chest. That was meant for me. Now in his final minutes, I bent over my saviour. I asked him why he'd stopped my rage with his heroic behaviour. He said, "How do you expect to have inequality when you demonise the other side for sticking to their old beliefs? They're just scared like you are." He explained that at the start he'd been a conservative too, but when he'd worked with children in the slums he knew he was through. You see, conservative means you're trying to keep things the same, but when so many people suffer, don't you think we should be trying to change, to make things better? But Call Me Dave couldn't get past the banks and the city. He's a victim of his upbringing, deserving of pity, 'cause while he doesn't understand, his ways are just a dead letter. He can only be to history an obstacle to the inevitable better. But it will get better. And now I said, "Clement, if you want the world to be fairer, then you go back to your streets, you tell the ones that you care for that you can't just leave the future to the suits like me. If you want to have a say, you take responsibility, and when you've told the ones you care for and you've sorted out your ends, then you go to someone else's and you try to make friends. And you write, you talk, you blog, you work, you share your ideas, and you don't believe they're only worth the sum of your years. And it's going to be slow, but it's going to get better. We're only gonna get there if we all get there together." And with that he was gone. MegaClement. He was made